You're a teacher, so you know just as well as I do that we don't have time to do anything. We always have a to-do list that's 1,000,000 miles long. And so the name of the game is efficiency, efficiency, efficiency. So how can I work smarter, not harder, as a teacher and have more time for stuff that matters and spend less time at school feeling burnt out and wanting to get home and see my family? So one of the best things that you can learn to do smarter, not harder, is lesson planning. So I'm gonna let you in on a secret. I prep my lessons 3 weeks at a time, and it takes me 2 hours to prep 3 weeks worth of stuff, and I am not lying. I'm gonna take you behind the scenes and see how I do it and how I'm able to provide quality, good lessons and only have to spend 2 extra hours at school every 3 weeks. We're gonna dive into the specifics right now. You guys, I'm gonna keep it real. This is what it looks like at my desk. It is not cute all the time, but it's all about getting the job done. Am I right? So here's my system for how I spend 2 hours at school prepping for 3 weeks of lessons, and they are high quality lessons. Now, I have to tell you, in order to get to this point, disclaimer, I had to put in a year's worth of work. But if you know you're gonna teach the same grade the next year, follow my system, put in a year's worth of work, and then the next year you can reap the rewards and not have to be at school as much. So what I do is I digitally organize all of my lesson plans in a simple pattern that I can follow and replicate each year. And then as I prep and create new lessons, I put everything in one organized folder, and any supplies that I use, I put in one spot so that by the time the year is done, I have digitized all of my lesson plans. I have folders with all of my hard copies, and I have laid out all the manipulatives and things that I'll need in the future in an organized manner so that the next year when I go to grab them, I know where everything is and I don't have to spend precious time searching or reinventing the wheel when I've already created a quality lesson. So I want to give you the blueprint of what that looks like. How do you set it up that way? So I'm about to switch over to my MacBook, and I'm going to show you what my digital lessons look like, the end product, and how I organize them so that you'll be ready for year after year after year if you're teaching the same subject. And then then we'll go from there. So I'm gonna switch over to my MacBook now. Okay, so this is the digital part that I wanted to show you. So I'm recording this on my MacBook. So as you can see, I have organized my lesson plans for the whole year in this file, in my overall big file for the year. So I've got other folders in here as well. But I'm using Drive to organize the cycles. So basically, like I said, we teach in 3-week cycles. So here's 1A, 1B, and 1C. So each of these is worth 3 weeks of lesson planning. So the first quarter, 1, is 9 weeks. And then we have a break. And then it's 2A, 2B, 2C, and then it's Christmas break. Then it's 3A, 3B, 3C, spring break, 4A, 4B, 4C, summer break. So that's the rotation we use. I'm aware that not everyone uses the same rotation. In fact, a lot of people don't. So you have to tailor this to your overall school year and how it works. So if you do it in 10-week increments or however many weeks it is, just think of it in chunks that are manageable to plan. So I'm gonna take you inside of 2A. So each week worth of planning is one document. So I've labeled them very clearly. 2A week 1, 2A week 2, 2A week 3. I'm gonna pop all of these up really quick so you can see how similar they are. Now, at the top, I have the dates. So at the end of the school year, I copy these over into the next year's folder.
And then my prep work involves just logging in. So if I'm prepping for 2A, I come in here and I'll just change these dates because they're going to change slightly from year to year. I'm going to review the standards, make sure that the standards are being taught in the same order. Every year we kind of switch up 1 or 2 standards, but for the most part we teach them in the same order every year. Okay? Now, this specific part here is going to look different based on your subject matter, what you teach, and your schedule. So I have it so that when this is laid out in my notebook, it'll be a 2-page spread. So this will be on the left side and the second page will be on the right side, and it reads across. So Monday is this way, is the top row, and then on the second page, it'll be here. So this is the morning and the second page is the afternoon. Again, you have to tweak this to fit your schedule. This isn't anything cute or pretty. This is down to the point and what works for me. So Monday, I know that I start off with reading centers. And so this is my reading centers. I do read to self, read to someone, writing, listening, and word work. Then here's my whole group, just bullet point lessons. And then here's my small group lessons. Now, I will disclaim that my reading group my small reading group lesson plans are on a different document. So that's not on here, but I know the order in which I teach them. And then we do something else called Success, which is part of the 8-step process. Those lessons are also on a different document. So this might not work for everyone, but I'm just showing what I do. And then in the afternoon, here's the math full group lesson, the math small group lesson, and then the writing lesson. I didn't feel the need to put lunch, recess, or specials on here because, again, this is just what I need to know. I know how my day goes. So I will just go through and kind of just glance through the lessons really quick, make sure, refamiliarize myself with if there's anything I did different last year, I will, go in here and type in, whatever I want to do. Now, as you can see, last year, apparently I was absent on this day. So I'd go through and I would change that for next year. So this whole process for week 1 takes me maybe 10 minutes if I have to make some major changes. Then I flip over to week 2, same thing, kind of peruse through it, make sure the links still work. I've linked videos and stuff that I project up onto my board. Just kind of go through it. Again, wow, apparently I was out a lot last week. Or last year I had a substitute 2 weeks in a row. I'm on committee meetings, so that might be it. So then I go on to this week. So to kind of peruse these, change the dates, check the standards, and review the lessons that I'm teaching, that takes maybe 20 minutes. Now, I'm going to switch back to my other video in a second, but I'm going to proactively tell you what you're about to see. So you might be thinking, oh, that's great, your lessons are planned, but how do you prep for them? Because that's what takes most of the time. So I have a file that I'm about to show you that has all the copies all organized into one simple folder. And so I then take the next probably half hour, go back to week 1, and I see, I need the phonics books and I need the fall books. I'm going to go grab those. My writing is called What I Love About Fall. That's the prompt. So there's a paper that has that. So I got to match them. So I make a week 1 pile, a week 2 pile, and a week 3 pile. And so that takes about a half hour. So when it's all said and done, I think now in the process has taken about a little less than an hour so far. So we've gone through, we've changed the date, we've made sure everything's good to go. And then I take my folder and then I pull out all the hard copies, or the originals, I guess. And then I make a stack that says week 1, a stack that says week 2, a stack that says week 3. And I'm about to show that to you right now.
Okay, so now we're on the back end. I was in the computer, now I'm back out into the world. So I'm looking at my week 1, 2A week 1. So just to show you what I was talking about earlier is I have my 2A, is it gonna focus? My 2A folder right here. So as I go through the documents that I need, I just look through and I pull them out and I make those piles that I was talking to you about. So I make a week 1 file, a week 2 file, and a week 3 file. Now, I have all those files done. It's literally just a matter of now walking over to the copier. I try to do it in the morning, like early in the morning before a bunch of people are there, so I don't tick any teachers off, because it takes about 10-15 minutes to print off or to make all the copies. So I run all the copies 3 weeks at a time, and then I come back here and then I paper clip them and I stack them by week 1, week 2, week 3. Week 1 then gets filed into my filing area by subject. And that way I know where to find everything each week. And then when I'm done with 1 week, I just go over, grab my week 2 stack, put it in there, go to week 3 stack. And then sometime during week 3, I gotta prep for the next cycle. And so that takes 2 hours again. And I just do that again and again and again. Like I said, any manipulatives that I need, I have laid out in an organized manner. So if I call for certain books, I know right where to get them. If I need base 10 blocks, or if I need dice or whatever I need, I can go grab them and just set them out. So the copying, depending on how many papers I have, takes about 20 minutes, probably a half hour once I sit and paper clip everything together and sort, and then I have to grab the manipulatives and put them around the room. So really, if I'm on task and focused and not distracted, it usually takes less than 2 hours, because I think I've accounted for like an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes at this point. Focus on me. There we go. So that's how long it takes. This is the system that works for me. I have to, because of our 8-step program, I have to make different lesson plans for a half-hour lesson that I teach every 2 weeks. So I do prep that a little bit differently. That's why I said 2 hours, because I assume I have to take like 10 minutes a week to prep for those. Anyway, I'm rambling. So this is the system I use. It works really well for me. Like I said, it takes work to set it up, but once you have the system, it's really, really easy. So if you like what you see and you're like, like I like your lesson planning template, again, it's not fancy, right? It doesn't look cute, but it gets the job done. So if you want a copy of that, I'm going to put a link below in the video where you can get your hands on a copy of the exact same lesson planning template that I used. And feel free to use my system. Just make it in advance, like start the year, get it all organized, and make it super easy for you to just copy it over. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just copy that template like 9 times and then just change the dates and input your standards in your schedule. It doesn't have to be super complicated. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's just about efficiency. You're tired at the end of the day. You don't want to stay at school if you don't have to. So don't let lesson planning be one of those things that takes up your time when it doesn't have to, when you can work smarter. So those are my tips for lesson planning. Let me know in the comments if you have a different system, or if this works for you, or if it wouldn't work for you because of your school schedule. I want to know so I can help more people. So until next time, guys, we'll see you. Happy teaching.